Peace. This is a Meat and Potato Sorcery production starring myself, the Water Alchemist, and today's topic for the occult family is angels dealing with grief and please stop the lies. So with that, let's get into it. And I say this for everyone that has experienced this or is in the process of maybe going through this. The first thing that I recommend if you are experiencing any form of grief, but especially when it comes to your parents, a spouse, or even your children. First and foremost, get your grief counseling. So that's the first thing I would recommend. But also, if you're dealing with magic and the occult, work with Azrael. This is an angel that can help you with grief. And also, this angel helps escort those that you have lost over to their next destination. So again, that is Azrael, Azrael. And it's very important because one of the things is that we live in a society where the abnormal becomes very normal. So one of the things that you're going to experience anytime you're grieving and you're hurt is anger, pain, denial, rage, and then you will shut down. The last one is going to happen, particularly when you have a lot of people where their spouse or their parents, their mother, their father, that was their best friend. So they shut down. And then if you lose a child, don't even get me started on that one, because the most painful thing in the world is when a promise is denied, because children think they have it all figured out. So when your promise is denied, the worst thing in the world is when a mother and a father has to scramble to bury their child. They've outlived their child. Do you know how unfair that is to any parent? So they shut down. And we already know, if you're empathic, we already know, like, some people will hit a level 6 or 7 on the shutdown radar. You already working on 15 to 16. And then let's say you don't really have the money, because we know just to put a loved one in the grave, that's upwards anywhere to $7,000 to $10,000. And then we're seeing more and more people have to take to social media platforms to start a GoFundMe page. This is why insurance is very important. And Azrael is good to work with helping you deal with that, because it could be people that when that loved one dies, a part of them dies and they shut all the way down. And where does disease really begin? Disease starts in the mind. And then what happens is that the reflection will come out physically. So it'd be the aches, the pains. People have to physically help you out of bed. You going through anxiety. You may even indulge in alcohol as an escape. And if you're dealing with magic, there's all types of ways to escape, because to have a semblance of peace, even though it's a lie. Think of Wanda Maximoff and how she put a hex on the whole town in WandaVision. It was a lie, but think of all the trauma that her and her brother suffer, and then being hunted by the government. Now, she's a goddess. So the whole thing is, even if she had to trap people in her own multiverse, it was well worth it. So that's a good angel to work with, because the worst pain is not physical, because eventually you go to the doctor or you meet your demise and it's over. The worst pain is spiritual pain, because it's never ending. And then you'll hear certain songs on the radio, or you may even encounter a person that reminds you of your spouse, reminds you of your child. And you just want to, your first thing is you just want to go grab them and touch them. Even though angels will not interfere, a lot of them, don't ever think they're not watching. And so are demons. They're also watching. The key with angels is just asking them. They won't get involved, period, unless you ask them. And even then, and here's the painful part, encoded in your DNA is how you die, when you die. Now, because of the contracts that many of us sign, of course, we're stripped of that knowledge because we have to live in the now. You have to do this. And also, are there exceptions? Yes. Even in your contract, there are exceptions. Let's say if you were such a horrible human being, guess what? Spirits and daemons will have a meeting, and they're going to come to a resolution of how to take you out. That is what they're going to do. Okay, we tried to let this individual mend some bridges that they constantly keep burning. They're raping, killing. They have no respect. They abuse animals. New plan. Simple as that. And here's the lies that I want to address that has been put forth by the religious community. If you choose to be religious, that is inconsequential to me. But one thing that I do want to speak on is the misinformation that is being spread via your platforms that I guess that you've taken from the Bible or even the Noble Quran. Is that when individuals die, they cannot become angels. That's wrong. Yes, they can. They can become angels because partially that's what they were. Or they can return to the planet that their ancestors are from. Or they can even become demons. They can become a ranking daemon or a soldier. As far as being an angel, they could be an angel that loved animals and were very good to them. Some of them loved animals more than they liked human beings. So that's wrong. That when so-called humans die, they cannot become something other than. That is not true. And I know you're going to keep spreading it because one thing, we live in the time where if you tell a lie enough, like Joseph Goebbels from the Nazi Socialist Party, if you tell a lie long enough, eventually not only will it become pervasive, people will hold it as a truth. So I know how that works, and I want to recommend a movie because people say you should never question. Would you get in a vehicle and somebody had a loaded gun, and whether it's registered or not, but it's just sitting right next to them on the passenger side, would you just get in? Don't ask any questions and go with them. You don't know what type of mission they're on. And they're driving 89 miles an hour. Your first thought would be like, okay, I'm going to sit this one out. And if you do sit this one out, or even if you go with them, the point is you ask questions. You have a right to question. But some people don't because they don't want to come to the foregone conclusion that their life is a lie. So I will leave you with this. You can work with Azrael, and you can also work with Ariel if you are fond of pets. And here's a movie that you can watch that will make you think. It has some kernels of truth, and that is Dogma 1999, starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. So with that, that is your meat and potato sorcery production for the day. I'm the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friends. Peace.